What's up, fight fans? And we're back at it with another edition of Round One Sports Talk. I'm your host, Edwin, and let's kick off this episode right here. We have a lot to talk about. I want to talk about what's going on out there. I gotta silence that one, right? What's up? All right. You was waiting for me, I bet, huh? I know you was. You know what I mean? I said, my man, all right, is waiting. I mean, Danny, what's up, my boy? How you doing? Let me show some love to my faithful viewer.
Skill issue.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, hold on, wrong button, wrong button, wrong button. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we got the bell here at Round One Sports Talk. That's for you. Let's kick off this episode right here. I have a lot to talk about. Ask you guys what you guys think. All right, Canelo Alvarez. By the way, can you guys hear me out there fine? Is the mic like breaking up or anything still? I try to work on it. Hopefully the mic is loud enough right now. Just give me a check real quick. A thumbs up if the mic is loud enough and it's not like crackling or anything. Just let me know that if you can real quick. Because we got a lot to cover here. Loud and clear, thank you. All right. Let me pull up here. Okay. Did you see Josh Taylor and no? All right, thank you for the music check too. Um, that rematch with Taylor, right? That's gonna be a good rematch right there too. Now, as far as Josh Taylor being the fighter that he once was, give me 1 second. We're gonna talk about this. That's an interesting fight there in itself. All right. I think that if he wants to put himself back, in the mix of things, Josh Taylor, this is a fight that he's gonna have to win. Unfortunately, you know, what are people gonna say about this fight? Should he have picked someone else? Should he go for one of the belts that, because he did lose to Teofimo Lopez, but technically he didn't lose all them belts. He was stripped of the belts. So, you know, I think he can work his way back in there and slide back in, uh into belt contention, whether it be at the 147, whether it be at wherever he chooses, because he was that kind of champion that he can talk to the sanctioning bodies and they will put him in position, so it's like this fight right here, yeah, it's you know, I'm gonna look more into this right here, but what do you guys think about the Canelo Alvarez situation now? Are you guys finally like to that point? I know I get there all the time with him. I say to myself, man, fuck Canelo, bro. And then I'm like, okay, Canelo, come on, man. You know, um, he had like this little like gathering, and everybody kind of thought that he was going to announce his next opponent, right? And what he did was, in fact, is like had a little gathering just to acknowledge he was signing another fight deal or something. Like, what? Yo, this dude is mad arrogant, right? Yeah, I guess anything to keep your name relevant if you're not fighting anything or doing anything big, Canelo. Because now, I said this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and a lot of people said this 2, 3 years ago. That he was cherry picking and we had enough of it. But now enough is really enough. Like now, I believe he's fucking up his career. Now I believe Canelo Alvarez is in the point where now the fans are gonna be like, "Yo, dude," right? Because for one, the cat is out of the bag with him retiring. He announced that he feels like he's at the best, at the prime of his career, and that he's going to be fighting for another 5 years. That's what he said. So he's not retiring. So if you're not retiring, you owe an obligation to the 168-pound division as the champion, and that nobody can beat this version of you. Well, then fight the number one guys. If this is what you're saying, right? So it's going through the grapevine. His next fighter that he's going to fight is the other Charlo twin, the one that's going through mental health issues, which I believe are drug issues, right? And he's got to find his way back to the sport. A lot of people gave him criticism because he couldn't even knock out Jose Benavidez, right? But I view that with a different set of eyes. I view that fight like he could have knocked him out whenever he wanted to. And I think if he wanted to step on the gas at any time, he could have knocked him out. I believe he was trying to get some work in and some rounds in, and his coach told him, I know you can knock him out. That's not what I want you to do. You've been away from the sport for quite some times, and what I want you to do is get some rounds in. I want you to show me that you could at least go 10 rounds before we schedule you for a 12-round fight. I need to see where you're at. I need an eye test. What good is it if you go out there and knock this guy out in the first, second round and you get no work in? You see? So his coach was probably instructing him not to step it up, not to knock him out, you know? And maybe in the last round he said, go for it, and he just didn't get it or something, right? Okay. So why is Saul Canelo Alvarez once again wanting to fight a guy, one, once again, not in his weight class? He doesn't fight in Saul Canelo Alvarez's weight class. He's 160. So he wants them to move up to 168 to fight him. Just fight somebody at 168. I don't know. Well, at least Demetrius Bivol and uh what's his name there? Arthur Benavidez is gonna fight. At least those guys are gonna put everything on the line. And I can't wait to see that fight. I want to see the big boys mix it up there and see who's gonna walk away with all four belts. You know, it's interesting. My man's coming into this fight with like 100% knockout ratio. I understand he's not the most skilled guy in the world, and his fights don't look so. But for one thing for sure, he's knocking everyone out. So he's a strong fighter. Okay. Um, and you know, I just think from here on in, Canelo Alvarez really needs to like think about what he's doing. You know, one good thing that he did do, I want to let you know this just in case you don't know this, right? They try to put the fights in Mexico, his next fight, and they try to tax it with pay-per-view so that the Mexican people would have to pay pay-per-view if they wanted to see the Saul Canelo Alvarez fight. And Saul Canelo Alvarez said no. He said no to that. He said, Mexico's not the richest country in the world, and he wants his people to be able to see his fight for free. And he did not sign for that agreement. So he did that right. You know, he wants to please his fans, and he wants to, be like this kind of like Robin Hood, but at the same time, what he's trying to do is keep all the gold and not fight the best. He's avoiding fighting the best, and now that he has everything, he's claiming all these claims. No one can beat this version of him. He's in the prime of his career, but yet he's still not fighting Jaime Munguia. He's not fighting David Benavidez. He's not fighting any of those top guys. The closest he got was what? Caleb Plant? You know, I know Ryder gave him a great fight, but Ryder was a relatively unknown all the way up until that point, you know. So I don't know with Canelo what's going on with him, but I think he's playing with his career right now. And I think he's been holding up that division for long enough. And I think that the sanctioning bodies, um, although he does make the most money, at this point, um, the people will go see him regardless if he loses the belts. They'll support him regardless without those belts. So the sanctioning body at this point in his career, you could push a real big money fight if you push him to fight the best. Yeah. And then you even got a rematch after that. So if he only has 5 years left and so many fights, the sanctioning bodies could turn on him right now and really turn on the heat and tell him, okay, we're not gonna protect you anymore. You have to fight your mandatories. We'll see what happens. I'm not mad at Canelo, but he is. Yeah, many people thought that his next opponent was gonna be Jaime Munguia. I thought his next opponent was gonna be Jaime Munguia because although Jaime Munguia is talented, right, and he does have a lot of fights in, right, Canelo Alvarez can beat Jaime Munguia. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Jaime Munguia might look like he's like mad strong and quick and powerful. Canelo Alvarez didn't get to where he's at because he's a bum. Okay, the one thing that Canelo Alvarez can do, he can fight, and he hits very hard. All that flashing shit that Jaime Munguia got, he still knows he's a young fighter, and he's not fully a complete fighter yet, Jaime Munguia. And I think that the veteran that is Canelo Alvarez will show in that fight, and he will beat Jaime Munguia. For though as talented and strong as I see Jaime Munguia, and I see him against those other guys, yeah, he's good. I don't think he's gonna outsmart a fighter like Saul Canelo Alvarez. I don't think so. And I think Saul Canelo Alvarez will hurt Jaime Munguia, to tell you the truth. Yeah. You got to remember who the hell Saul Canelo Alvarez is. I know he's been in there with some lackluster guys, but he fought the Triple G's, the Floyd Mayweathers. He's fought them all. The greatest of the time he has. And he had a decline in the last 4 or 5 years in his style of opponents, you know, right? And then there's just this one guy in the division that's a monster, Mexican monster that's been chasing him around, and he hasn't fought him. But technically, everybody else in every other weight division and anywhere around in boxing, if you weigh from 108 to 268 pounds, Canelo's gonna fight you. Yo, next thing you know, Canelo Alvarez is gonna want to fight the Japanese superstar at a catch weight, 167. Yo, he say some Ryan Garcia shit. Yo, but yeah, and then on top of that, other news I want to share with you guys. There was rumors that Errol Spence Jr. called it quits. He made like like he went on social media and he gave the peace sign. He went like this, and everybody took it like he was walking away from the sport, like peace boxing. He didn't say a word. He didn't say anything. He just went like this, and everybody said, "Oh shit, he's retiring." That's it. That's all he did. So he said it was going to be in America. What was going to be in America? Oh, the fight, the next Canelo's next fight is shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's going to be. But he wants the Mexican people to be able to watch it. So they wanted to put pay-per-view on the Mexican rights. In Mexico, when Saul Canelo Alvarez fights, they get it for free. They've always gotten it for free. They've never played for pay-per-view for Canelo fight. We do in America, yeah, but not in Mexico. If you want to see a free Canelo Alvarez fight, simple. Drive across the border. Yo, but they like it. Yo, we trying to get in. No, no, we trying to get in. The Canelo fight tonight. Yo, you know, and like he wouldn't allow them to put that tax onto the Mexican people because he wants them to watch his fights. You know, and then like I was saying, Errol Spence Jr. They're all saying that he's retiring. Look, he's not retiring. Errol Spence Jr. is not retiring. As far as what he's doing, look, there are a lot of questions around the man. And I talked about this, okay? A lot of people said he looked at dehydrated in his last fight and all of these things, but I saw him and I merely stated he looked at all those things, in fact, but he also looked at high to me. He looked like he was on drugs, right? After the fight, he reveals that they gave him a shot in the side of his rib. And I was like, a shot? Since when do they give you a shot in your rib for a fractured rib? There is no cure for a fractured rib. I've known that since a little kid, since I've been getting fractured ribs in all kinds of sports. When you go to the hospital for a fractured rib, the doctor tells you, "You- take it easy, lay down, stay off your side. If they want, they'll give you the fake bandage. They give you a Tylenol. There's nothing you can do for that. He said they put a needle in the side of what they put rubber in there, cement. What they sealed it up or something because there's the caulking. There's nothing for that. That means they gave you a set like a pain so that you wouldn't feel it. My man was high as shit. He said my eye was affecting him. Nah, you was droopy as shit. That's what you look like to me anyway. You look like you was delayed reaction because you was twisted and you was trying to snap out of it. I don't know. That's just my mere observation. Do I know this to be true? No, it's not. Do not hold me on that. Do not quote me on it. Do not make that a fact. That is a mere assumption from me as of an observation that I believe might have occurred. Do I have any proof of that? No, I do not. Have I ever had proof of it? No, I do not. Keep it funky. I'm not going to make up a story and I'm not going to feed you a lie. I will be honest all the way around the board. This is merely my observation. I will never set out a false narrative or lie just to get views. That's not going to happen. Okay? But I believe that in his case, Errol Spence Jr. needs a little bit of soul searching, and I hope he comes back strong and he proves all the doubters wrong. I hope to see him in the near future, and maybe in the nearer future, we can revisit that Terrence Crawford fight. I would like to see it again when Errol Spence Jr. got his shit together. Yes, I would like to see that fight again. But as in a, let me see what Errol's bringing to the table. Okay. Um, Look, as far as um Ryan Garcia, you know, scheduling a fight with Devin Haney at 420. Look, I can sit here and I can criticize Ryan Garcia for not being ready for Devin Haney right now. Truth be told, I believe that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney are levels apart in skill. But that doesn't mean that he's not daring to be great. One, this would be for his first title fight for Ryan Garcia, right? It would be against an old nemesis, an old familiar face. Two guys with big names that are choosing to fight the best fighting the best. I'm not going to consider that title where the best fighting the best because Ryan's not the best, but Devin Haney is. Okay. So, but Ryan brings a lot to the table. He brings a big following. He brings his star status. Okay. And anything can happen in a fight. All right. Because Ryan is skilled. Okay. He is skilled. I just wish he would sharpen his skills a lot more. Tighten up on the defense, move your head some more, not so straight up in the air. He's coming in, and you would think that he would have corrected that problem when he got dropped by Campbell, right? The next time I saw him, I thought he would have his chin tucked in a little bit more. Once again, right in the air like this, you know? And I thought that when Javante dropped him with the first shot, that's how I thought he was going to knock him out. I didn't think Javante was going to knock him out, finish him with a body shot. Way he dropped him the first time that Ryan got up, I said that's the shot because he's always got his head up. You see, and by now I would have thought he would have corrected such a simple correction, but it doesn't seem like he's correct. He's just fighting off a God given talent. That's all he's doing. Ryan knows he's gifted, and since the fact that he knows he's gifted, he doesn't feel like he has to learn anymore. There's athletes that they just believe in that shit too much. You gotta you gotta know that if you're gifted and combined with your gifts, you put hard work and dedication on top of that, wow, you would be, you know, you would be a force. So that's where Ryan Garcia has to get in his training. I how much better could possibly Ryan Garcia get from his last fight coming into a fight versus Devin Haney? How much better do you actually think he's going to get? How much more could he work on? Could he correct that Ryan Felicia defense that he invented all by himself? Derek James didn't show him that shit. He invented that shit by himself on the fly and started giving his back to his opponent. Could he correct all of that? Because you're not going to be able to do that against Devin Haney. Devin Haney's going to pick him apart and he's going to make him look very bad. And the way that they've been going at it, Devin Haney can't wait to put his hands on Ryan Garcia. So, but Ryan Garcia is daring. He's giving us the fight. You can say a lot about the young man, but he's not Saul Canelo Alvarez. And so far, Ryan Garcia has fought Tank Davis, the top guys. He's signing to fight Devin Haney right now. Like, he ain't doing no Saul Canelo Alvarez ducking shit. That's for sure. Maybe at one point he did. But now he's stepping up. He's stepping up. So, it come to think about it. If I look at Ryan like that, yeah, Ryan's, I'm upset that he's not as good as I think he should have been, but he is fighting these guys. Win, lose, or draw. He's making the money that goes with it. Yeah, Ryan might not be that dumb after all. you know? So yeah. Devin's gonna wipe the floor with him on 422. I'm gonna put on my smoker's jacket. I'm gonna be smoking it up. You know what I mean? I look, I don't think Ryan can. But anyway, we're gonna talk about that fight as we get closer to that fight and if it actually happens. Another thing I have to remind you with Ryan Garcia is he is a show. And there has been moments and situations in his career. One, he pulled out of the fight. He's pulled out of multiple fights. Okay. He retired from the sport due to mental health issue. I'm not going to clown that or anything, but I believe that there's a lot of people with mental health issues in this world, and that is a serious thing, and it's not something to joke about. Okay, and Ryan doesn't strike me as the individual, and that's why when we say that, speaking of only this individual, only him, I chuckle. Okay, anyone else saying it, you know, respect. Yeah, it is what it. I'm talking about Ryan Garcia. Okay, and when he's done a lot of these things in his track record throughout his career, some red flags will go off. And until I see him approaching like the media breakdowns and the training and stuff, you know, then I'll be able to tell you, that they're actually gonna fight. Because I think his people are gonna advise him to pull out the fight, just like when they sent him over the contract to fight Javante Tate Davis the first time, not the second time when they actually fought. The first time, and then they advised him not to take the fight, and he pulled out. Then he eventually fought him. So yeah, yeah. So and like and then you got Foster and Nova, of course. I wanna like check that one out. I want to see where Nova is right now. Um, is he gonna bounce back? And see what happens because okay, I want to see a couple fights this year to be able to determine what's going to happen at the 126. I'm going to have my eyes on that division all probably probably all year, right? Because for one, I'm expecting Naoya Inoue to make a title defense against Luis Pantera Navarrete, right? The reason why I want to talk about the 126 and start looking at what's going on up there because I'm going to try to um, you know, predict the future. Who's going to be there? What who could the Japanese superstar fight? Shall he be successful against Luis Nares? And where does that hold in the division? When he steps up there, kind of like, I mean, people are reaching here when Patrick Mahomes just won his third Super Bowl, right? Yeah, okay. He wins his third Super Bowl. Congratulations, my man. You guys didn't see me there? Yeah, I was the guy that made the play that allowed us to score. Don't you see? I won the Super Bowl, bro. It's right there, man. Yeah, yeah. Listen, enough about me, okay? But when he enters the 126, that enters him into a whole new atmosphere with a whole bunch of new legends. There may be some of these names I might say might have more divisions, but they've gotten to that one. Fighters like Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, they have five or more. Some of them have more, okay? But at least they got five. They're in there. So by him going to the 126, he enters the room. The only thing he has to do is obtain a world title to solidify that. Just because he goes to 126 pounds, okay, that's his fifth weight division. But there's a lot of fighters that have been in multiple weight divisions. They didn't win titles there, but they entered those. They'll announce it. They'll be like, "Oh, he has four weight divisions," but when they say he has titles in four weight division, that's a different conversation. Okay, so if he shall to enter it, yeah, that'll be his fifth weight division, right? Some would argue his six, but I can't give him credit for that, for the six, because he jumped over one weight division. Being the fact that he passed it, they're saying, well, he passed it, so and he's undefeated, so obviously he would have whooped the guys in those divisions asses, but you just can't give it to him. He didn't enter it. He didn't register in the division. He didn't fight any fights in that weight class. You don't get credit. You can't. Just because you pass it doesn't mean you should get credit for it. So, um, so it'll be his fifth at 126. Okay. Now, do I really believe that he's gonna obtain all four belts at 126? Listen, fight fans, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, right? If you were to leave it up to him and you will allow him to just his skills, fight for fight, man for man, I believe he can do it. I believe he can do it. I believe he has the skills, and if he was given the opportunity, damn it, I would like to see him try. I believe he can do it. He could get stopped. Yeah, yeah, he could lose a fight. But if you gave him the opportunity, do I think he can do it? Yes. Yes. There's a difference between the fact that I think he can do it and will they allow him to do it? And will these champions fight him? Now there's the difference. Everybody can say anything. You know, while these men were at 126 and they were watching the Japanese superstar at 118, they were all saying, "Yo, I wish he came up here. I'll fight that dude. I'll rock him." The minute he started climbing up the ladders, you don't. They hiding. They ain't saying nothing. They're not yelling his name. None of that. The only people still yelling his name is broke ass Casamera, right? And fighters that wanted their opportunity to fight him. You see, back over there, like I expressed this, I think that train has left the station. I don't think we're gonna get the Japanese superstar to stick around at 122. Now that these Saudis are kicking around all this money, $69 million. You gotta be fucking kidding me. His right after the Luis Narez fight, I'm almost 100% positive that he's gonna be fighting out there for all that money. Okay, who's he gonna fight on a historical night? The Saudis are gonna want to put together a big fight, and the bigger the moment, the more at stake, the more the Saudis love that shit. You see? So where's your storyline? Another title defense for the four belts? You just did that. You just did that. We just saw that. That's where he would be in the position if he was to beat Luis Narez in that time, right? So that's where he would be standing in front of the Saudi negotiating his next fight, right? So let's just say, let's speed things up. He knocks out Luis Narez and he's out there. They're like, yo, we just saw you defend all the four belts. What else do you got for us? What else exciting can you do? What are you gonna bring to the table? Entering his fifth weight division, fighting for another world title, which would be the WBO at 126, and winning his fifth belt. Now that would be exciting. That would be worth $69 million. I don't want to pay $69 million to something he just already did. If I'm gonna pay $69 million to see the best fighter in the world, well, I want to see him doing some of the best shit. He's gonna fight at 126, and he's gonna fight whoever has the WBO title. That's the way I see it. Not unless it doesn't have to go that way. Not unless any of the other champions, the WBA, the WBC, or the IBF champion, throw their name in the hat in the ring and say, "Yo, I'll fight him." Now that yet is yet to be seen. But if the WBC champion's like, "Yo, yeah, I'll fight him," whoever it is when he gets there, because these belts is changing hands, and he says, "Yo, yeah, I'll fight you, little Japanese dude. Let's get it." Sign him up. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what his name is. It doesn't matter who he is. He's gonna go and he's gonna sign up for it. So, look, that makes dollars and cents as a business aspect standpoint. You're gonna make that much money. You're gonna bring the Saudis that kind of show. You want to leave that kind of impression because this might not be a one-time thing for the man. If he does a good performance and he brings them a big show, and then the pay-per-view audiences also in America and in Japan are tuning into his fights and they're doing big numbers, they're gonna invite him back. They're gonna entice him to come back, even on a bigger. They're gonna and when you got those Saudis backing him, what if the Saudis get behind this Japanese dude and say, you know what, I really want to see him fight for all the belts? And they start pushing the other fighters in the sanction. Yo, no, 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 no. He must fight. And when you got powerful people that are backing you, Now you got powerful people backing you. That's when they say powerful people, those are the kind of people you need. And those kind of people are showing interest in this guy. You know, I just hope that the right people back him. And let's find out. Let's find out. Let's find out. Can he do it? Can he go up and successfully obtain all four belts in a third weight division, bro? And he is that guy. He's been that guy this whole time, and the people that lost to him, when they end their career too, depending how they end their career, let's say they only fall to the Japanese superstar. Let's say Stephen Kubo Fulton wins every fight from here on in his career, right? He can look back and said it took the best fighter in the world to beat me. The fuck is that saying, bro? He was the best fighter in the world. And at least you can take that and say, yo, bro, had it been for anybody else, he is the best fighter in the world. And in fact, I fought him. And I ain't lose to anybody else but him. So I was great too. You know? Because it goes to show, you know, once you get in a ring with a man like that, you know where the measuring stick is. It has opened your eyes to a level of boxing. Now you're either look it can break you or it can make you. A fight like that. He could beat the guy in front of him so bad, and the guy can say, "Well, if he's out there, I don't want to fight anymore." That's happened. Yes, this has. And the fighter no longer believes in his skills or himself anymore. You can go inward. Yes, you can. And then some fighters, the good one, can take something from it. They can say, shit, that's how good he is. Well, then that's where I need to get. I need to get my ass in the gym and do whatever it is to get there because that's the level I got to bring my fight game up because now I've come against a fighter on that level. I know for a fact 100% Stephen Kubo Fulton was shocked in that fight when he fought the Japanese superstar, right? And I talked about this. He gave Stephen Kubo Fulton a different kind of ass whooping than he gave Marlon Tapales. He beat Marlon Tapales, but Marlon Tapales came into that fight knowing like he was outgunned. Marlon Tapales was like, I'm gonna try to out slick you, smart you, see if I can get my shit off, and I'm gonna try to beat you, right? Okay. But Stevie Kubo Fulton came into that fight thinking he was the better of the two fighters. He thought he was faster. He thought he was stronger. There was no way this Japanese dude was gonna beat him. What the ass whooping Stephen Kubo Fulton got was a humbling ass whooping. That's when you got humbled. You got because you went in there cocky, arrogant as fuck, right? Thinking this little dude don't stand a chance, and this is gonna be the easiest payday of my career. And on the way back home, he was bubbled, right? It wasn't the easiest payday, and he learned something that day. He was like, "Wow, he's the truth." He was like, "This guy's for real," and that must have been a humbling experience. But that's for me. That's gonna make Stephen Kubo Fulton even better fighter, and I believe Stephen Kubo Fulton will be a champion again. There is a possibility that Stephen Kubo Fulton and him can meet up again, and it will be a different fight. I think it'll be a more competitive fight, you know? Um, or maybe it will be and maybe it won't. Or maybe he'll fight him and maybe he won't. Because sometimes when a guy whoops your ass that fast, yeah, there's a mental part to this. And depending who you are as a fighter, there's no way I can tell about that. That's to the individual. Can you mentally tell yourself, I can beat this guy? or when the fight starts going down, you feel like the fight's not going your way, do you mentally break and you go, man, I can't beat him, you know? You don't want to go in too early. That's why I didn't want Errol Spence Jr. fight Terrence Crawford, because that was the first time in Errol Spence Jr. any man has put his hands on him like that, I bet. And if he was to go in to fight that same guy right away, he might be shell shocked. He might be gun shy. He'll get flashbacks from the first ass whooping, and it's not gonna be good. So yeah, look at this. Danny, my man. I fucking love Danny. He be saying some crazy shit, right? Bolton and Butler was his easiest fight, and they were probably some of the strongest champions he ever came across. Paul Butler got one punch knockout power. Paul Butler was wiping everybody else down. Okay, I believe Paul Butler lost to um Rodriguez. I think it was right, or was it Jason Maloney that lost to Rodriguez? They kind of look alike. I get them mixed up by faces, you know. But Paul Butler is a strong fighter, right? And Stephen Kubo Fulton was revered as the best 122 pounder in the world coming into that fight. So they were the best of the best they had to offer him. What happened was he made it look easy. And that's a testament of how good he really is. He took champions like that. Stephen Kubo Fulton had two belts undefeated. He didn't win a single round against that guy. But yet, he's not that good. Yet, it's not him. It's the other guy that had an off night. Time and time again, miraculously, all 26 of his opponents had an off night on the night they fought him. Yeah, they all. It was just not their night. Yo,
Skill skill issue.
skill issue, bro. It. He's just better. He was just better. He was the better fighter, and it showed. You know what was really impressive about one of his performances in one of his fights, right? When he fought the British guy, the Jamie McDonald, right? Now there was a guy, right, that was undefeated for 10 years. He was the champion for 4 years. He's never been knocked out in his career. He's never been knocked out, right? So he takes the fight against the Japanese superstar. Leading up into the fight, you know how when they have like the behind the scenes where they were interviewing McDonald, right? He still hadn't seen him. He hadn't seen, the Japanese superstar in front of him, and he didn't know how to pronounce his name. Nothing. All they did was tell him. They showed him a picture of him. They showed him his height and his weight and his reach. And he said, yes, I'll fight him. Where do I sign? He didn't listen. He did not take 5'5", 115-pound, whoever you are, to come up and beat him at 118. He hasn't lost a fight in 10 years. He's been the champion for 4 years. He ain't never been knocked out, right? He's 5'9.5". He's almost 5'10". He's almost got 5 inches on this short Japanese dude, right? He didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear nothing they had to say about this guy, his mysterious power, his speed. He said, "Show me the picture again." All right, you guys want me to kill this little Japanese dude? I'll do that. And you're gonna pay me how much? Okay. He didn't get the memo. He did not receive that text. Okay. My man knows exactly who he is, what he has to offer. He was not impressed by his height, his unbeaten streak, the fact he had the belt for 4 years. You ain't never been knocked down, knocked out. That didn't matter to him. All these factors that he said, what the hell is your opinion or what he did against fighting other people have to do with me? He's fighting me. I'm the Japanese superstar, right? He listen, he pulled up to the fight, double parked outside, got in, put his gloves on, went inside the ring, and beat the brakes off that man. He left, got back in his car, and left with the belt. Yo, he cleaned him. That was so impressive in so many different ways because he knew who he is. He's a champion. None of these attributes, nothing that they said, bro, it was a massacre. Now that was probably one of the easiest fights he ever had against a world champion. Within one, he didn't make it out the first round. One fucking round, bro. He dropped him what twice, two, three times. I can't. All his fights are starting to blur, right? He destroyed Jamie McDonald. One fucking round. Now that was his easy. At least Paul Butler shelled up. He turned Paul Butler into a human punching bag. He really did. Now I dare you to go back and watch any of Paul Butler's fights. And any fighter that ever had Paul Butler against the rope, like the Mexican dudes that he fought, bro, Paul Butler is slick as fuck. Yo, he was like, bang to the body, spun off the rope, uppercut, dropped the dude. The other dude had him on the rope. Yo, Paul Butler can bang, bro. He ain't no slouch. You just saw the beating he took, and you said, man, that guy ain't no good. It's because of what he did. I dare you. Go watch Paul Butler's highlights, bro. He's a dog. He truly is. And he just smashed him. And then you're going to say that Stephen Kubo Fulton was his easiest fight? Who was Stephen Kubo Fulton leading into the fight? Oh, he had two belts, undefeated, beating everybody, revered as the best 122-pound champion in the world. And if I'm not mistaken, he said leading into that fight that they were overlooking him and he should have been placed higher on the pound for pound list. Don't you remember? So that's who he was. And if he did that to those guys, what is that saying? All the way up into those points, these guys were the shit. Yo, he even beat the shit out of my Puerto Rican champion, Emmanuel Rodriguez. And I thought Emmanuel Rodriguez was going to at least take him into the later rounds or something. No, honestly, I'm lying. I thought Emmanuel Rodriguez was just going to beat him. At that time, I really didn't know. I knew about him, but I mean, the Donaire fight sealed it from me. The Donaire one, I was a fan. He sealed it with that fight with me. So from there on in, I never doubted this guy again. I've never bet. I don't bet, but I'm not going to go against him in the fight. You're going to have to bring a lot to convince me, right? So I was like, shit. But he took my guy out, you know? And and then Emmanuel Rodriguez, Paul Butler, Jamie McDonald, they all went back and got belts. Not Jamie McDonald, I'm sorry. Maloney. Maloney went and got back a belt. Rodriguez went and got a belt. And I think Paul Butler went back and got a belt. Yeah, and Donaire went and fought for a belt and lost. So all these guys he's beaten, and I bet you Stephen Kubo Fulton goes and fights for a belt. And watch out if Marlon Tapales doesn't become another world champion. Because that's how good his level of competition is. That even when he's beating them, they're still good enough to be world champions. That is excellent competition at its finest. I don't want to bring this up all the time, but all the undefeated fighters Terrence Crawford fought, all 7 of them, never went on to fight for a world title, become world champion. No, they fought for him, but they never got it. So his level wasn't good enough to get a world championship. Naoya Inoue is beating these guys, and after losing to him, they still had enough skill to get a belt. Top competition right there. That's elite competition. Yes, it is. When you can beat a guy and he can go get another belt, had it not been for you, he'd be world champion. That's what that says. Yeah. He got better too. Maloney got better. No, Maloney was always good. He just really, really look at that Maloney knockout that he knocked him out in Madison Square Garden. It was so devastating, so slick, in fact, and so good in so many different ways that, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that knockout of the year? He made Maloney is one of the only fighters that I can honestly say that boxed the Japanese superstar. Yeah. JC Maloney actually stood in there and traded with the Japanese superstar the entire fight. Stylistically, for a fight, he gave the Japanese superstar a better fight than Stephen Kubo Fulton. Um, I think Marlon Tapales landed better punches. I believe his punches were harder. I believe Jason Maloney looked better though, fighting his style wise as the dance is performed, better than Marlon Tapales. Yes. Um, Marlon Tapales was a little all over the place. He was switching his style up. He was trying new things. He looked a little lost, but he had the Japanese guessing, and off of the guessing, he was getting a little success. Yes, he was, but he couldn't sustain it. Maloney was sustaining his fight plan as him. There's a difference. You see, he was actually executing some of his original fight plan. And even though the Japanese superstar at times had him shelling up, scared, a little gun shy, Maloney was still boxing him the way he knows how to fight. He didn't change Maloney. He changes the guy in front of him. He makes them start to either do things or just concede. Where that Maloney was actually one of the guys like Donaire that actually boxed him. Donaire actually boxed him and fought him in the first fight, just like Jason Maloney did. Paul Butler never fought him. Paul Butler conceded in the fact like he's hitting too hard. You see, and Paul Butler's pride, he wasn't just going to lay down and allow him to walk away with his belt. He understood he was in a lot of trouble, and he was hoping for that miracle shot that the Japanese superstar would make a mistake. And that mistake wasn't going to happen. And Paul Butler got broken down. And the Japanese superstar made him gun shy. But Jason Maloney, he didn't make him gun shy. Jason Maloney was fighting him. He was trying, and he was just that nice, man. So I gotta give Jason Maloney credit for that. And in fact, I speak of this. When you're in a ring and you get your ass whooped by a guy that was that much better than you, the next time you get in a ring with your next guy, if he's not as good as him, he's gonna look slow as fuck. And in the back of your mind, you're like, if you're not as good as this guy, You're not beating me. At least it'll give you, you know what I mean? And he went on to become a world champion, a real world champion, in fact. He might just have to fight his kid brother, Titus Kep, or Emmanuel Rodriguez might sign to fight his kid brother. We're gonna see where that goes. Okay. But yeah, so he's he's coming into this fight right now with Luis Pantera Nares. We've all talked about this, guys. We know that Luis Pantera Nares is taking, they're paying him well. And this is an execution. Yes, it is. They're sending this man in there to get dealt with, you know. But after this fight, well, let's not pass this fight. Let's show, or let's me show Luis Nares the respect he deserves. I'm not gonna overlook him. I'm not gonna overtalk him. The Saudi fight is not here, or in who he's gonna fight at 126. Interesting, but not happening yet. So is he fighting? He's fighting Luis Nares Pantera, right? Okay. So, uh, you know, I've um I've talked about Luis Nares Pantera, and I've expressed to you guys my concerns in the fight, what he brings in the fight. Many fight fans and many observers in the game believe that Luis Nares Pantera's style haters to get knocked out by the Japanese superstar. I am in agreement with that. I believe that his style is not really good when it comes to the kind of fighter like him. When he can deliver such an accurate and sharp punch like he did to Donito Donaire and the Donito Donaire 2 fight, so he hit Donito Donaire with a punch you're not supposed to hit a veteran Hall of Fame champion, 3-time division world champion such as Donito Donaire. Now he might have been an older version of himself, but whatever he lacked in a step, he gained in experience, fighting experience. He knows when and where when to get close to a guy. That's not the type of guy that you're gonna trick to hit with a shot like that. Just because you saw him do it and he made it look easy, you gotta really think about what just happened there and what just took place. He knocked out Donaire like what? Let me see that again. And I'm like, yo, mind you, right? The fight was basically over in the first round when he hit him with that shot. The bell saved his ass. Had it been 10 seconds in that first round, he knocks him out in the first round. We all know this because he started the second round. What did he last? 26 seconds or something like that, right? And it was worse for him. But Donito Donaire was going to keep getting up if the referee didn't stop him, or the Japanese superstar was going to turn him off from his senses. If they would allow that man to continue, that would have been fucked up because the Japanese superstar would have to do his job. He would have to do his job, and he's going to put him down. Okay, so when you can knock out a man like that with that kind of punch, you got to understand that Donito Donaire's defensive boxing skills and ring IQ and experience in front of fighters is way higher than Luis Nares Pantera, bro. And his defense and his intergame, I believe, is way better and way higher than Luis's. And if he can catch a fighter such as skilled like Donaire with a shot like that, Luis Pantera Nares can't hide it. Where is he gonna live inside of that ring? Is my question. Where is he gonna live? He can't hide. Yo, he's gonna set up shop in another corner, and the Japanese dude's gonna walk over there. He's gonna, yo, come out. Hey, yo, no Luis Pantera Nara's here. I haven't seen him. He gonna try to hide. Listen, he just is not as technically defensively sound as I would have liked him to be. If you're gonna be those kind of fighters that enter this fight against him, I would have liked him to be at least a bit more defensively sound like Marlon Tapales was. And Marlon Tapales in that fight, I believe his only mistake against the Japanese superstar in that fight was he stood in front of him too much. I think he would have gave him a better fight if he didn't take he he would have minimized on taking some of that damage from standing in front of him time to time. And then Marlon Tapales hitting his stomach, going, "Yeah, you ain't hurt me." He didn't have to take those punches. And as the fight played out, it showed those punches weighed on him. And I believe that that was his only mistake. But as far as keeping the Japanese superstar a little confused, Marlon Tapales, I think, did a great job. And for one of the first times in a long time, I actually saw Naoya Inoue lose a round. Because I'm telling you right now, I gave the seventh round to Marlon Tapales. I did. I gave him that seventh round. He was catching him. He was catching him. Look how good this man is. Marlon figured something out. By the next round, he figured him out. He already had an answer for what he was doing. Elite fighters. That's what I talk about. He figures shit out in the moment. It didn't take him another 2 to 3 rounds to figure out what he was doing. No. In the round, he noticed when I throw the one jab, he can evade me. But he plants his back foot, so if I double up on the jab, I'll catch him. That's some highly skilled shit. You never came against that style and what he was doing, and you already figured out a solution to that. You didn't have to go back, talk it over with your corner. Your corner's like, look, he's doing this. I want you to do this, this. No, by himself in the moment. Huh? You did? Oh, okay, I got you. That's some shit. Not a lot of guys can do that. He's gonna get sent to the gulag. Naoya, right? It's Naoya. That's how they've been telling me to say it. Because when I first heard it, all the American guys they were messing his name up. And when I learned it, they taught me it the wrong way. And they recorded it. Yo, I can't get it out. I can't when I'm talking to him and I'm flowing and I start to bring up his name. That's why I put in Japanese superstar. Because I rather say that than fuck up his name. You see what I'm saying? Because I like the guy and I like to show him respect, but I at least want to say his name right, damn it. Right? But fighting over the way that I learned it and the way you guys are telling me to say it when I'm talking, for some reason, it's not clicking. Now, some people have told me to pronounce his name Naoya Inoue. You know how Japanese people talk, right? They talk from diaphragm. They, you know what I mean? They talk from their stomach, you know? I'm an American. I don't talk like that, bro. And plus, I'm from Massachusetts. And I even messes everything up, right? Right? I like when they did the commercials against Brady, and they were like, "We don't know what you're saying. These guys are, Massachusetts. Yeah, I ain't got no fucking accent. I can't tell. But anyway, they were telling me to say Naoya Inoue. Is it Inoue or Nui? How's it say it? How's he say his name? Naoya Inoue? Because I heard Tim Bradley say it. I heard other commentators say it. But every time They say it slightly different. So what I did was I started watching the Japanese themselves say his name, like in the Marlon Tapales fight. Yo, I was paying attention to the way they were pronouncing his name. And I was like, okay. And I was like, trying to like and then I found out that the last name is a real common name. There's mad people with that last name. I was like, what the hell is that? Right? But anyway, yeah. So now yeah, ain't no way, right? That's how you gotta say it from where you're from. Japanese. That's how they talk, bro. You know? So, yeah, I look, you know, um, it's important for me to pay attention what's going on at the 126, but it's also important for me to focus on the fighter that he has in front of him. And this Mexican fighter right now, Luis Nares, he's got to know and he has to see the opportunity that's being presented in front of him. If you were Luis Nares right now, what would you do? If you were coming up against this fighter right here, and you had Luis Nares' skills, what would you do? This is your opportunity. 4 belts on the line. It can cement your legacy. You can go to the Hall of Fame behind this shit. You'll be the first man to defeat him. You'll go down as the man that slayed the monster. You'll be paid the most money you ever made. A rematch is probably in the near future. Star status, you're going to catapult there. That's everything Luis Nares stands to gain. What's he stand to lose? He don't got no belts. He already lost as a professional, so his O doesn't go. He's getting paid the most money. What's he lose? At this point in his career, this is the best fight for him. He ain't gonna get no other fight bigger than this. So he's going in there with truly nothing to lose and everything to gain. You ever hear that expression? That's where he's at. Luis Nares. He has the chance to change his stars. And if you were given that kind of opportunity, what would you do in that situation? I believe Luis Nares is going to come in at the best shape of his life. He's going to try to give it, and he's going to try to pull another upset set on Japan. He already did it once before. What makes him think he can't do this again? The first time he went to Japan, he was supposed to lose. Not only did he not lose, he won and came back with a belt. Went back, shot the rematch, 5 pounds overweight, lost the belt on the scale, but knocked him out. He's already played spoiler over there. He's been in this position before, so the bright lights ain't gonna affect him. Going to Japan ain't gonna deter him. The home crowd does nothing for it. He's been in this situation in Japan, same crowd. He's going out there to play spoiler. Yes, he is. And if he can pull this shit off, oh my God. Mexico's already probably pissed off with Saul Canelo Alvarez. This guy comes in flying in with these kind of 4 belts. Woo! Listen, and everybody else is like behind him. Bro, Luis Nares knocks this dude out. This guy will pick him up himself after the fight, celebrating. Yeah! Yeah! Yo, hater. Yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not even about being a hater, bro. It's really not. It's just protecting what you made, your legacy. Could you really be mad at Floyd for some of the shit he's doing? Imagine if you were Floyd and those were all your records, and that it took you a lifetime of 20 years to complete these records. You're driving around in your Bentley, your jewelry, women all over you still 10 years after you retired. You're that kind of guy. And all of a sudden they're saying, yo, your records are getting smashed. What would you do to protect your? Would you be sitting there going, yeah, I like that the Japanese superstar is destroying my records. Allow him to continue. Really? That's what you would do? You would say, as long as it's competitive, someone's got to break my records. No, you're not. I don't think you would. Floyd wants to keep his records. I would too. If I was Floyd and those were my records, and I understand, and he understands. There's certain records that it might not ever be broken. There's certain records that the Japanese superstar will not catch Floyd Mayweather. And I believe in two categories. He's not going to catch Floyd. Well, he still has a chance, maybe in one, but it's the likelihood. mm, there's two records he's not going to catch Floyd. The first record he will not catch Floyd in is the 50-0. He's 30 years old right now. He's 30 years old. He only has 26 fights. He needs 24 more fights. He basically needs his entire career again from 19 years old to 30. You think he's going to get 24 more fights in? That's not going to happen. He's not catching Floyd in that, right? The other record he's not going to catch Floyd in is fighting the most world champions. He's not going to catch him there neither. Floyd fought 26 world champions. Up to present date right now, they got him down fighting 13 world champions, right? He would have to fight an additional 13 world champions. Everything he did, all 13 of those world champions, his entire career up until this point, he would have to do it again, and he's 30 years old. There's no way you're going to convince me 13 world champions are going to sign up to fight him and 13 consecutive fights from here on in. He's just not going to catch Floyd when it comes to that. You see? So, but everything else, as far as the kind of champion he can be, he will be a way better decorated champion than Floyd Mayweather when it's all said and done. Yes, he will. He's already beaten him in that. With the all four belts in two separate weight division, he's already beat Floyd Mayweather in the regards of what kind of champion he was in his era during his time. The Japanese superstar is a much decorated champion in that aspect. Yeah, he already beat Floyd when it comes to that. Okay. The way that he disperses his competition rather than Floyd on his tail end. Unfortunately, Floyd was born, he was cursed with brittle hands. His hands broke a lot. He even had to retire because of that. So technically, at the tail end of Floyd Mayweather's career, he was a handicapped fighter because if you're not doing what your abilities and your skills should be performing, if you got to take away from what you're doing because he had to like run more, he had to be more elusive and evasive, right? Because his body didn't stay together. He's a handicapped fighter. So at the end of Floyd Mayweather's career, what you were actually seeing was him. Um, altering his style of fighting. He wasn't the Floyd Mayweather when he was young. Before Floyd Mayweather became like the money team and shit. I dare you go back to watch Floyd's first of his career. He was on his level shit. That's where you can put his style against young Floyd. Young Floyd was a monster. He was a monster, man. And I can sit here and talk about his fights all the time, but when on his tail end of his career, he was more of a runner, an evasive fighter, a more point catching fighter, and he would outslick you and outpoint you because of his ability. You see, where that he's not in that situation. He can be himself. So far in his career, there hasn't been anything that has plagued him, like a back injury, an arm injury, that he had to change his style to keep fighting like he did. He had to change his style and his approach to the game if he wanted to keep fighting. That means he wasn't himself. That's the truth. Okay. So when he retires, right? Um, if he retires good, I mind you, because as we're seeing with our own two eyes, some fighters can't walk away from the sport. This guy, right, he wants Manny Pacquiao to come out and fight another exhibition. But I admire the way Floyd's doing it, right? Because he's smart. Because even if you knock out Floyd, let's say Manny goes out there and knocks Floyd out, it doesn't count for anything. You guys can all go on social media the next day and say he's not undefeated anymore. No, yes he is. He can get knocked out from here on in, or since he retired, 35 times. In fact, he can get knocked out 50 consecutive times, which would never happen. But I'm outrageously making a number because none of that would count. He will still go down in history as in boxing career undefeated. Because the way he's doing it are exhibition boxing matches, 2-minute fights. They don't count. They're not on your boxing record. Very smart. He's making millions on exhibition fights. Very smart. Wasn't like Evander Holyfield. Wasn't like Roy Jones. Wasn't like Mike Tyson. Wasn't like Ali. Didn't do it like that, where that all those losses counted. They were fighting professionally still, and they were getting knocked out, and that was hurting their legacy as a champion. Yeah, they did it wrong, if you ask me. They should have retired and threw exhibitions and still gathered money like he did. But I don't think that they, at the time, they thought that that would be a possibility or that it would work or that people would want to come out and see it. He showed, yes, it was a possibility and it does work. And all those other fighters are like, damn, bro, I should have did that shit. So in a sense, he's done a lot of smart boxing moves, man. And for whether you love or hate him, man, Floyd Mayweather, you gotta admit, bro, everything he did, he touched the gold, man. And the man can't read, bro. He go to a restaurant, he can't read the menu, so fucking what? But I'll buy the restaurant. How about that? I don't have to read the menu. I'll have somebody stand right there and he'll read me the entire menu. I'll pay him to stand right there. How about that? You see what I'm saying? Smart business shit, bro. No matter how his mouth turned you off or what he did or what he said or how he fought or how he ran or cherry picked at the end of his career, none of that shit matters, man. None of that shit matters. How did he walk away from the game? I'll wait. Rather than how the rest of these dudes walked away from the game broke, fucking world champions, valet attendings, became a valet attendant after his world championship, opening doors for people coming into the hotel. This was the fucking world champion, bro. The heavyweight world champion. at the end ended up broke, opening doors for people to come in to a hotel. I've seen it. How many times we seen our favorite fighter end up broke, dead and stinking? In fact, if you love boxing and you want to know something about Floyd Mayweather and you want something else to criticize him for, well then criticize him for this right here, right? The man that gave him his first opportunity at a world title at 130 pounds, that champion, died. When that man died, guess who paid for his entire funeral? Floyd Mayweather. Guess who sent his family money? Floyd Mayweather. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do any of that. Floyd Mayweather did that because he respected that man because he gave him his first shot at a world title. And he knows how this game goes. And he respected him. And Floyd Mayweather paid for that. You want to criticize him for something? Criticize him for that. I'm just saying, you know, um, there has been a lot of things he has done crazy, fucked up, whatever in boxing. But the man, he has done some great shit. He has done a lot of good shit for the sport of boxing, and he has shown a lot of these guys that you can get from underneath the thumb of some of these people. And if you want to make these fights happen, you can. Unfortunately, now Floyd found out the promotional side of the ugliness of the business. And although he wants to do good, it's hard to say no to that money, bro. And when it comes in to divide it, shit, I want to get. I already got this. Like, yo, you start getting greedy when you start seeing those kind of numbers. So it becomes an ugly thing. Shit was ridiculous on how training what. Look, you notice after the Stephen Kubo Fulton with Naoya Inoue, we really haven't even heard anything from the man. I really think that he's in there developing himself because he saw firsthand where he needed to be. When he went up against that Japanese dude, that must have been a real eye opener for a man like that. Like I said, he got humbled. There's a difference. And okay, let's think this through. You're Stephen Kubo Fulton. You. You're Stephen Kubo Fulton right now. You just lost both your belts. You got humbled, a little embarrassed. Your ego got a little checked. You're on your way home. Your corner's telling you, don't worry about it. We needed to get out of this weight division. Let's move up to 126. But wait a minute. That storm's right behind you. He's on his way. He's only one fight from being in 126. You might want to get as far as away from that man as you possibly can. Maybe go up to 130. Become a champion. Fight some fights. Get some experience under your belt just in case that monster comes back. Because if Stephen Kubo Fulton moves up to 126, it's only a matter of time. What are we talking? Two fights before he's back in front of his face. And I don't think he wants that. I don't think he might not be mentally prepared for that yet. I'm not sure. Not every man deals with a loss the same way. No. Um, I saw some people lose a fight. I'm like, yo, don't worry about that, Bob. They couldn't get over it. They couldn't get over it. So I've seen that before. And then I've seen other people be in denial. That's worse. That's worse when you got the guy saying, I didn't lose the fight. I never lost that fight. You got knocked out. Listen, I slipped. There was a banana peel in the ring. Yeah, yeah. We've heard those guys. And I think that's kind of worse. That You're like, dude, are you serious? Like, you know, like Rolly. Rolly gets knocked out by Tank Davis, and he literally was on YouTube saying, I was winning the fight. I want to fight him again, rematch, because I was whooping his. I was, bro, are you that delusional? Like, you do realize you got knocked out, right? Some of these guys is like, they just believe too much in their own shit. And I'm gonna tell you right now, um, there has been a lot of fights going on, right? And the Japanese superstar has already fought since he fought Stephen Kubo Fulton. He fought Marlon Tapales. He's already on schedule to fight um Luis Pantera Nares, right? And have any of you guys heard anything about Stephen Kubo Fulton? Anything? Can anybody say that they've checked in on him, that he made an announcement, he's coming back? What weight division is he fighting in? Have it's just been radio silence. Absolutely nothing since that ass whooping. But the what was it? The first 2 weeks he got back into town, he said some bullshit on an interview that nobody, absolutely nobody bought, right? And no, it wasn't him, it was me. It wasn't him, it was me. No, nigga, it was all of him. It was all of him. He took all that away. He took the fight right out of you. All right. And then he made those couple little statements, and I haven't heard anything. Nope, nothing. Yeah, yo, yo, you know what I'm saying? Hold up.
You what?
Yeah, yo, Edwin, I know you glad it's recording. Laugh. Yo, look, you know, a lot of these guys that he's beaten, some of them went on to become world champions. We were talking about that earlier in the show and shit. And I said that Stephen Kubo Fulton could be one of those guys. But the thing is with Stephen Kubo Fulton, when he lost against him, he was going forward in the divisions. The other guys that lost to him, they stood in the division and became champion. So the Japanese superstar left. So they're like, yo, did he leave? Yo, did he leave the division? Is he gone? Well, then I can be champion again. If he's gone, I get right. But Stephen Kubo Fulton is still swimming in shark water. He's just going into in front of him. So the likelihood of them could be meeting up, there could be a possibility. But if I was Stephen Kubo Fulton, I would have tried my luck at 130 because at least that gives me that much time frame. Because how fast could this Japanese dude get all four belts at 126? I know he's going to give it a try, right? And some people are going to duck him or avoid him. So that can take a couple years. So Stephen Kubo Fulton can be a pretty good champion and establish himself at 130 before the storm comes back up. He could be that much more prepared. Plus, it could be another mega fight where that he stands to get paid a lot of money for the rematch. Okay. And if he was to have belts at 130 and the Japanese superstar was going up now, you know what I'm saying? Now we're talking. But if I was Stephen Kubo, I would try to get as far away as I could away from that man. Yeah. He don't want that smoke. Let's be honest. Stephen Kubo Fulton is not going to want that smoke again. He ain't going to want to go up in there, you know? So, um, low mass, your channel hits home. That's right. Wista. I just moved out of Wista, actually. Yeah. Fucking Wista. Yeah. You know this, man. Yo, uh, well, I don't think that would put my wife in jeopardy or anything. My girl. She's not my wife, but she's my girl. But my girl's a manager in a dispensary. Yeah. I ain't gonna tell you what dispensary she works in and shit just to protect her, you know. I would never want nobody try to do anything stupid to her, but she's a manager in a weed dispensary and I gotta test out her flowers sometimes, you know, just to make sure that it's coming rich from the nature of the planet, you know. Yo, that would okay, okay. Yo, I got the plug. I'm married to the plug. You know what I'm saying? She's in the room. You know what I mean? Yo, no, I can't take the bag because it's got the name of her company on it. I was gonna grab the bag with all of it in it and be like, "Yo, show y'all," but you would see the name, so I can't do that. So, but yeah, yeah, I'm with the plug. You know what I'm saying? Yo, look. Oh well, Devin Haney's fighting Ryan Garcia on 420. I think I'm gonna tune into that fight. Right? It's on 420. Uh that's just you know, look, I criticize Ryan a lot. I do. You know, like I tell you guys, I'm critical to a lot of these fighters. And don't get me wrong. I'm critical to everybody. I'm even critical on him. All right? But I'm not biased and I'm not hating. And I'm not throwing salt on these guys. You can be critical to any fighter. Speak your mind about the fighter. It doesn't mean that I dislike him or anything. It's that I'm critical and I expect more from that fighter, or you know, would like to see this about the fighter. And just because you're a great fighter doesn't mean I won't call you out on your shit. I'm gonna call you out on your shit. Okay. So when it comes to like, you know, this guy, man, you know, he's just truly doing it uniquely. And when it comes to like fighters like Ryan Garcia that are not as skilled, but damn it, he's daring to fight the big fights right now. He is, you know, according to what's going on, it's official with him and Devin Haney. And I gotta give him props for that. He fought Tank Davis. It took him a little while, but he did it. You know, and he's going to fight Devin Haney. You know, I cannot say that about Saul Canelo Alvarez, you know, so, but look, guys, it's been my pleasure here, man. Round One Sports TV, you know, uh, tell me what you guys think, man. Are you guys actually like supporting Saul Canelo Alvarez on some of these decisions that he's making? He just signed another fight deal. It doesn't seem like David Benavidez is anywhere in the future. Jaime Mogia's name got thrown around there, but the only name that I'm being told behind the scenes is the other Jamel Charlo twin, and that they're gonna announce that. So I'm just preparing you right now. He's gonna fight the other twin. And if you ask me, the other twin is not ready to fight him. He wasn't ready then when his little brother stepped in and took the fight because the little one wasn't supposed to fight him. The original fight was offered to the older brother, but he's been going through some mental situations and he's been trying to, like, I guess, get his shit back together, right? And coming off of the performance against Jose Benavidez, you know, I saw that he did get the 10 rounds in, which I wanted to see if he can sustain the level since when he started. Was his gas tank going to show, you know, what, you know, no, he looked like he was getting it together. But I still don't think he's ready for Saul Canelo Alvarez, you know. Um, So that's what I think is going to happen with that. As far as the Ryan Garcia fight, do you think it's the right time for him to fight him? And as far as the Japanese superstar coming in this fight with Luis Nares, do you guys have any hope that this Mexican dude can pull up another big upset in Japan? Could he do it? You know? Uh so that's what I want to know. Nope, he's not ready, he said. Nope, not ready. Immediately, nope, not ready. We all know it. We all know. I mean, real fight fans know it. Other people let them tell it. Ryan is the best. He'll fight anybody. No, he's not. When it comes to this boxing shit, there is levels to this shit. And Ryan Garcia is just not on Devin Haney's level. Whether or not he's given us the fight, the exciting fight, okay, I'll give him that much. You know, whether he wins, lose, or draws in this fight, he's got my respect for the fact that at least this time he signed up to fight him. You know, he's not fighting no more tomato cans and he's going after a world championship. So this will be his first shot at a world championship. So when it comes looking at it as that aspect, all right, Ryan, I'll give you that. I can also admit that your name got you here, not your skills. And I'm also acknowledging that your looks and your name got you to this fight, not your wins. Your popularity of what you got as a social media and what you bring to the table got you here, not your skills. So there's a difference. Where Devin Haney got in his career, his skills brought him there. There's a difference. So I don't think the fight should happen, right? But they're giving it to us and Ryan's taking it. And I think he's gonna get paid well, you know. But yeah, absolutely. And then you know, like I said, uh we'll be getting the Foster fight and then we'll also be getting uh the Tyson Fury fight got pushed back, delayed. I know there's some shit with that and I haven't heard any new updates on it. As far as I'm being told, it's just being postponed. Most fighters observers are saying that it's canceled. They're saying that it's canceled, which I don't buy. I don't believe that. I don't believe that because I know that the Saudis already had an arrangement with Tyson Fury and he owes them a fight. So he has to give them that fight or he's going to get either sued or whatever. But he's in a contract with them. So that's why I'm not quick to say that fight's not going to happen because Tyson Fury has to fight somebody. Whether it's going to be Olive Usyk, I don't know. But he has to fight somebody. So yeah. And I don't think that Errol Spence Jr. is retired from the sport of boxing just because he did this. Unless he comes out and says officially that he's retired from the sport of boxing, don't buy any of that shit you're going to hear on YouTube. Everybody's putting it out that Errol Spence Jr. retired and that they're saying all this shit. He didn't retire. He didn't say nothing. He didn't say not a fucking word. He only did this. And they said, oh, he's walking away from the sport. Yeah. They're fucking full of shit. So listen, fight fans, I love you guys. I'm about to get down and go eat. We chopped it up long enough here at Round One Sports Talk. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Let me leave you guys with some of the that I'm currently putting together. Some of my sound effects. There we go. We starting to put it together. We are starting to. It's getting scary around here. All right.
Bruh.
Ha ha! My man Bud. Ding, what up? Ding. If I could pronounce your damn name, what'd that say? Zay? All right, fellas, man. Love you guys. Take it easy. It's been a blast. Signing out here, Round One Sports Talk. I'm on to the next one after this one. Peace. Let me not say peace, because then they'll say that I'm walking away from broadcasting forever. And let's kick off this episode right here. We have a lot to talk about. I want to talk about what's going on out there. I gotta silence that one, right? What's up? All right. You was waiting for me, I bet, huh? I know you was. You know what I mean? I